Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo and we are here at the Cameras Los Angeles showroom in West Hollywood. I'm here with writer and director Matthew Merenda with his movie Helix. Let's take a look at a clip.
As a kid, I used to dream about the future. But somewhere along the way, it turned into a nightmare.
Matthew, it's a joy to have you in the studio. I don't get to say this word much, but your film was epic.
Thank you.
It really was. But for those that haven't had the pleasure of seeing it, tell us a brief synopsis of Helix.
Well, it's basically about a future where the middle of the United States has been blown apart by a nuclear war, and it's sort of walls have gone up on the coasts, and people are smuggling stuff back and forth. And Helix is about one of those smugglers, and she gets double-crossed and gets into gunfights and car chases and all kinds of fun stuff.
It's amazing. I didn't expect to quite go through all those emotions in a short film version. I was like, wow, this is incredible. Now, where did your inspiration come, Matthew, when you were writing it?
The pretentious version is that I had always thought, whenever we talk about world crises like refugees or smuggling or terrorism, it's always a foreign problem. Mm-hmm. And I thought science fiction is a great way to explore stuff that we are thinking, or themes that we can't really get to in a drama, or
mm-hmm.
are a little more harder to explore in a drama. Mm-hmm. And so I was what if that was an American problem? What if we had refugees here that were trying to get places in America, and what happens if the problem comes home, essentially,
mm-hmm.
and the threat comes home. The less pretentious way is that I'm a huge fan of 80s and early 90s action movies, and I wanted to make one on as little budget as possible, but still have a car chase and gunfight, and do real squibs and all that kind of stuff, and use matte paintings and sort of older techniques, but mix it with newer, cheaper filmmaking.
Yeah, explain a little bit more about that, because your film looks like you had quite a hefty budget, and yet, you made an independent short film, and it's quite an achievement to do that. So how do you go about just kind of trying to get this, because sci-fi and futuristic films are kind of the hardest genre to do, or one of the hardest genres to do in terms of budgeting. So how mm-hmm. is that possible?
The biggest thing is begging all of your friends for help.
Yeah, begging. Okay, got it.
Yeah. But the second thing is I just sort of went into it knowing okay, if I'm gonna do a car chase with no money, this mm-hmm. is the way you have to do it, is shoot it from another car, or mm-hmm. Glue. We taped an iPhone to the bumper of a car for some of it.
Amazing, I love it.
I was hanging out the window with actually it wasn't a selfie stick, it was a little more secure than that, but had the camera on a pole and was just holding it out of the car window for some of the shots.
So you're a trooper. You risked your life to get the shot. I mean, it's the best kind of director you want. That's amazing. Well, I hope your insurance was high, so that's good. I'm glad you did that. But now you've kind of mentioned some of your biggest challenges, hanging out with selfie sticks and all sorts of things with the car. But what were the biggest challenges for you in creating this action-packed movie?
It was mostly time. The car stuff we kind of could do at our leisure, because it was we'd go out late at night and get a couple shots, and then mm-hmm. go out the next night and get a couple shots. But for the big, the middle of the film in that warehouse, we only had it for a day. Wow. So we had to shoot the entire scene in a day, and it was, we also had all the extras there, and some people could only be there for 4 hours or 5 hours. And so it was well, let's shoot all the scenes or shots with these people in the background first. and then go back. So the whole thing was shot out of order, and it was very rushed. So it was a lot of like.
Well, it didn't look like it. Wow, that's amazing.
I'm glad it came off that way.
Yeah, but I mean, it is quite a feat, and it's not the first time we've had filmmakers come in saying, we literally had this time period to fit all of this in, and it is a humongous pressure because you've got people, and everyone's got different schedules, and everyone's feeling differently, and you have to, in independent filming, keep all of that together, and you certainly did that as well. So, Matthew, what's kind of next for you on the horizon?
I'm not sure. I keep saying something easier, like,
Nah, forget it. No, just keep going down the same road that you're going.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's like sort of, I want to do something that's a little more like a Glengarry, Glen Ross, like dialogue-driven sort of thing, but I also don't. I also want to do like, another movie with a shootout, or like something more maybe martial arts-driven, or something like that's all one take, or like something that is a technical challenge, but also narratively has something.
Well, you had such a great reaction last night, at the festival, and people were just in love with what you just created. What is it like after all the hard work that you've made and putting all that together? What is it like to have your film selected, with NewFilmmakers LA and have it in front of an audience like that?
It's a big honor, and it's immensely gratifying to hear people just like get into it, and that's part of the fun of making action movies or thrillers, or it's like getting the audience into it is one of the most gratifying things when you're all done, because it's like, again, I feel like I'm really putting down dramas, but when you do dramas, it's like people are quiet the whole time because they're letting it sink in, or they're thinking, and it's like you're like, oh, I don't know if they like this or not. And then with an action movie, it's like people are laughing or cheering or clapping during the big moments, and they're getting into it, and being able to see it with a bigger audience was awesome.
Yeah, well deserved, and we look forward to seeing many more of all of your style of films. I just say keep pushing the boundaries, Matthew. That's what that's what's so wondrous to see about Helix, and congratulations on Helix, and we look forward to seeing many more of your work in the future as well.
Thank you
very much.
You.